Hi there everybody and welcome to this week's live stream GuitarQuest lesson. So this week we're going to get back onto GuitarQuest 4. After last week where we had a look at how to play Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. So we will go over that again today, but not in anywhere near as much detail. So when we get to it, if you find it difficult, you may just have to go and revisit that lesson from last week. So other than that, we're then just going to be pushing on with GuitarQuest 4 and see where we end up. So we'll get onto that in a second, but let's kick things off by tuning. Remember, we want our 6th string to sound the same as this, so you adjust away until it sounds the same, and then we're going to go to the 5th fret on that one. That's our note A, and our 5th string should sound the same as that, so you adjust the 5th string until it sounds the same. Then when you're happy with that, you go to the 5th string 5th fret for your D. And compare your open 4th string to that, and then when you're happy with that, you would move on to the next one. So we then go to the 4th string 5th fret for the G, compare your open 3rd string to that, and adjust away until they sound the same. And again, when you're happy, go to the B on the 3rd string, which is actually the 4th fret. That's the only one that's different. So 3rd string 4th fret, compare your open 2nd string to that. And when you're happy it's in tune, you go to the 7th string 5th fret and compare your open 1st string to that. And again, when you're happy, you've adjusted the 1st string until it sounds the same. Then in theory, we're in tune. So we're just going to strum a few chords now just to make sure that sounds about right. So we'll start off with a nice easy E major. So again, if anything sounds a little bit off at the moment, it's probably your tuning, or maybe just double check your fingers on your left hand. Okay, and what about a G? Either option's fine, whichever G. So you see that one, or with pinky added, and a C. Okay, so right, we're pretty much in tune. So what we're going to do this week is consider those chords that we talked about over, not last week, but over the few weeks prior to that. So we had an A and a D and an E, and what we're going to do is sort of arpeggiate them. So we're going to play the root note on the 5th string, on the A chord anyway, and then we play strings 1, 2, and 3, and we use the 3rd finger to play the 1st string, middle finger to play the 2nd string, and 1st finger to play the 3rd string. So we get this kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. And then we talked about changing the bass notes, so we played that, and then we're going to move our thumb to the 6th string on the A chord. At least I think we covered this. Hopefully we did. And then when we play the D chords, we do the same kind of thing. So our fingers play the same strings, and then it's just our thumb now that's changed. So we go to the 4th string for the D to begin with. Then we're going to drop to the 5th string. So on both of those first two chords, we start with the root note, so the 5th string in the case of A and the D string in the case of D. And then we play that the first one, and then the second one we go one string lower. Which is lower in terms of pitch, i.e. from the 5th string to the 6th string, or the 4th string to the 5th. Then when we get to the E chord at the end, our root note's on the 6th string, so we do the same kind of thing. Our fingers are doing the same strings, and then our thumb this time is going to go to the 5th string for the 2nd note. And then we come back to the A. Okay, so let me just demonstrate, and then we'll try it together. So this is our A chord. So we start with I'm going to reference the thumb here. So the 5th string, then the 6th. We stay on it, go back to the 5th, and then the 6th. And then D is the 4th to the 5th, 4th to the 5th. E is 6th to the 5th, 6th to the 5th, and then we're going to go back to A. So 5th string to the 6th string, and then we'll stop there. Okay. So we've covered this in previous weeks. So this is a very good exercise for getting the right hand fingers moving and increasing coordination and that kind of thing. So let's give it a go together. So I'll count us in. Our timing is going to be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's going to be my kind of counting. Okay, 3 and 4 and then we go. Okay, so good luck everybody. Here we go. Okay, so 3 and 4 and to the 6th string, back to the 5th, to the 6th, and to D and the 4th string, the 5th, and the 4th again, back to the 5th, then to E, 6th string, to the 5th, 6th, and 5th, and we'll go back to A, so the 5th string, E, sorry, 6th string there, so 5th string. We're going to go around again, so stay on the A, and go a little bit faster. 5th to 6th to the D chord, to the 5th string, 4th to the 5th, to E, 6th string, to the 5th, 6th to the 5th, and then A again. We're going to go around one more time. We're going to go a little bit faster, so stay on the A, to the 6th, 5th, 6th, D, to the 5th, 4th, to the 5th, to E, 6th, 5th, 6th, 5th, and then back to A, and to the 6th, and 5th, and then we're going to stop there. Okay, cool. So if you managed to keep up with any of that, then very well done. Give yourself a pat on the back. That's very cool. You can pick the speed up to whatever you want, as long as you basically keep hitting the notes and things like that, and things don't get a bit untidy, then it's all fine, you know. And it's good to push yourself. Like, I remember when I was younger, like much younger, in my teens or whatever, and just trying to do stuff like that and just go as fast as I possibly could. And you're like, oh, do you know what? One day it's like, actually, that's actually sounding kind of like how I want it to sound. So yeah, don't be afraid to push yourself to go faster. We just tend to go slow on these lessons because it's better to get that firm foundation. But if you want to be playing really well and you want to be able to play at higher speeds, you obviously do need to practice them. So yeah, good luck if you decide to do that. So, okay, we're going to move on. So we're going to have a look at fast car again. So obviously, as I mentioned at the start, we talked about this one a lot last week. We spent the whole lesson on it. It's a bit of a kind of deviation from our usual GuitarQuest stuff. So I'm not going to go over it in too much detail, but we're just going to have a bit of a play through it and see how we get on. So we're going to take it in sections. So I've just got to move my music around a little bit. So give me just a second. So we're going to have a go at the intro first of all. So yeah, let's see how we get on. We'll just take it nice and slow. Remember, this music is available on my website. So if you go to my website, davidherries.co.uk, there's a GuitarQuest tab in the menu, and then you drop down to, it's called something like Extra Tunes or something along those lines. And then Fast Car's in there. It's got a link to the lesson from last week as well as the music. So you can download that and play around with it if you want. But assuming you watched the lesson last week, then let's try the intro here. So I'll just demonstrate just the main section really. So we start off with this kind of idea. We jump up. And then it just kind of repeats. And then the third line when we get to it now, this has got a little variation in it. And then we're back to normal. Okay, so that's what we're going to have a go at. Just remember, when we get that little bit with the variation, your pinky finger is going to be coming into play. So just try and basically just try and do it and see how you get on. It's good kind of strength work on the pinky finger. So that's all cool. So let's try it together then. So after 4, we'll go at that kind of speed, or maybe just a fraction slower. Okay, so 3 and 4 and. second line. And then the third line. So where the pinky finger comes in. Okay, and that's the intro. And then when we come into the verse, we basically just do the same thing again. And it just goes round lots of times. I think we counted it out last week. I can't remember what it was, but it was a lot of times that you just end up playing that riff before we come on to the chorus. So let's just have a quick look at these chords as well. So the first bar of the chorus on the C there, this is a slightly different strumming pattern. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then after that, we're just back into our normal strumming. So we talked about the world's most common strumming pattern in GuitarQuest 3. And that is just what we're going to be having a go at in these few bars here. When we get to bar 13 of this, you just got to watch out. You've got C and G in the same bar, so we're going to go down, down on the C, and then we change to the G on the up strum. So it's down, down, up, down, and then change to the D. So we'll just play it again. So it's down, down, change, and that change, the C to the G in the same bar. That's the bit that's, from the chord perspective anyway, that's the most difficult bit, so that would be probably the bit to focus on. But let's give it a go together. So just remember, when we get to bar 13, bars 13 and 14, we repeat that line before we finish that chorus off. So hopefully it's all making sense. Like I say, music's available on my website, so do download it if you haven't already got a copy of it. So okay, so starting on that C chord then, so after 4. Okay, so 3, 4. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4 to G, E minor, D, C to G, and then change to the D full bar. I'm going to repeat that line, so C to G again, to the D chords, and then last line we've got a C to D, 3, 4. Okay, so that's basically the chorus. So hopefully this was a reasonable challenge. So I kind of pitched it obviously in the middle of GuitarQuest 4. It would have been, I think, far too difficult any earlier in the course, but it'd be good to know how you got on with it, and if you enjoyed that sort of challenge or not, really. But for us, we're going to move on again now. So we're going to return to GuitarQuest 4. We may play through Fast Car again next week, because it is good. It is a good, just different challenge, and you're playing something that you hopefully know, so that's good. I've just seen a comment saying I love the challenge, so that's brilliant. That's mission accomplished from my point of view. So that's cool. So we're going to return to exercise 21 from GuitarQuest 4. So this is Moonlight. Now, when we played it before, it's very similar to the arpeggio exercise we did at the start. So we've got a changing bass note and then just open strings. So we've got an F sharp, then up to the G, F sharp, and then you would repeat those 4 bars, and then eventually we come around to a C, B, A, and then back to B. And then we've got repeats and DCR coda and all that sort of thing. So we'll cover that when we get to it. Now, we did do this one in a lot more detail a few weeks back, so do check that one out if you need to go back over it. But what I want to do, rather than playing 21 as written, is consider exercise 23 in the book, which is basically saying, can you play exercises 21 and 22 with swing? So I demonstrated just then playing with a straight rhythm. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's our rhythm. Now when we play it with swing, it's going to sound more like this. So like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's just a little bit more skippy. Okay, so that's the rhythm we're going to do. So in terms of the notes to play on the left hand, I don't think this is one of the more challenging pieces. But now introducing the swing, that's just introduced a slightly different, slightly different challenge. And on your right hand, it's having the control that your fingers aren't just kind of sort of, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to, I'm going to trip myself up. Basically, your fingers, you need to have the control over them, and they're not just kind of doing something without that control. So trying it with swing will hopefully be a good indication of whether you've got that control or not. And if you haven't, it just needs a little bit more time and practice. And I say like it just needs a bit. That could take a while. It might take half an hour. It might take 5 minutes. It could take a couple of months. You know. So just know you're on your own journey, and you know it'll take as long as it takes. So. But let's try it together. So exercise 21 in its entirety, but played with swing. So I'm going to count us in. I'm going to go 3 and 4 and to give an indication of that swing kind of feel. Okay. So here we go. Good luck, everybody. So after 4, so 3 and 4 and 1, 2. So F sharp. Sorry. To G at the 3rd fret. Back to F sharp. Back to the beginning, so bottom E, to F sharp, to G, to F sharp, to C, 5th string, 3rd fret, to A, the open 5th string, to B, go back to bar 5, C, to B, and A, and B, and then back to beginning, and F sharp, and G, sharp, and we're going to drop to the coda. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great stuff. So if you managed to play along, then please do give yourself a pat on the back. That's great. And you probably know what's going to come next. Sort of referenced it earlier anyway. But we're going to have a go at playing exercise 22 now, but this time with swing. So again, we've covered this in terms of like how to find the notes and where to find them and so on. Covered this in a lot more detail in previous lessons, so please do check those out. So yeah, we're just going to dive straight into it. Keep an eye on the repeats and things. So structure-wise, it's exactly the same as number 21, and we'll just see how we go. Okay, so the same kind of counting, so 3 and 4 and then we'll come in. Okay, so good luck again on this one, everybody. Here we go. Okay, so 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. Back to beginning. 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 back to bar 5. Going back to beginning in a second. 2 and 3. 2 and 3. 2 and 3. 2 and 3 to the coda. Sorry, missed that note. So distracting myself, saying to the coda and not looking at what I needed to play, but you get the idea anyway. So that is exercise 23. So let me just put that one on and bring the music up on the screen just so you can hear. I think when I recorded these before, I just kind of put them so they're in a good mix, or hopefully you think so anyway. So anyway, this is number 23. I've got that up on the screen. I have. Brilliant. Okay, here we go. Okay, jolly good. So, very similar, obviously, same notes, in fact, to exercises 21, 22, but playing with swing just gives you a slightly different challenge. So, hopefully that's something you'll enjoy. And again, it'd be good just to hear how you get on with it, really. So, but what I'd like to do, just to finish off with today, is have a look at exercise 24, which is more of a chord kind of thing. The chords in it, we've got A minor. So these are all chords we played before. Then C. We'll come back to that in a second because there's a little trick we've got to do with that. Then G. In the book I've written it as that G, but you're very welcome to play that one. It doesn't matter. And then D. So what we're going to do is work our way around the chords, but vary the bass notes. So we start off with an A minor. We start on the 5th string. We're not going to be doing that kind of thing. We're going to play the 3 strings together. So you get your 3 fingers on the 2 strings, 3 strings even. So 3rd finger on the 1st string, middle finger on the 2nd, and index finger on the 3rd, and then we can do that. So we have this timing. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so our bass note, as before on the A, when we play an A major, it's going to go from A down to the 6th string E. So, so yeah, if you're playing A major or A minor, if you want to change the bass note, it's still the same principle in this particular instance anyway, of going from the 5th string to the 6th string, just because of the way the notes work. So, okay, so that first bar, same in the second bar. And then we're going to change to a C chord, but there's the little trick we've got to do. If that's how we play C, what's quite common in a lot of tunes is to change the bass note a little bit. Now I haven't written it in as formally as that, but this would actually be a C over G chord. That's how it'd be described. So what it means is we're going to play a C chord, but we're going to make G the lowest note, and G is the 6th string 3rd fret. So we're going to move that finger over, but we're going to put our pinky finger back onto the 5th string to the C. So we've still got, sorry I left that one off, so we've still got the C, but just kind of played a little bit differently, and then we keep that 3rd finger down. And what you might find is once you're comfortable with that chord, you might even default to playing your C's that way because it just has that little bit more depth, or certainly I think it does anyway. So, yeah, so when we play this one, we're going to go C, so 5th string, then to the 6th string, and the same, actually the next bar is different. We're going to go to the 4th string. So on the C chord, over the 2 bars, we're going to go 5th to the 6th, 5th to the 4th. And the reason for that is because when we go to the next chord, which is a G, we're going to be on the 6th string, and we're going to go 6th string to 5th string. So when we change from the C to G, we don't necessarily want to be, you know, if we went to the 6th string, so 5th, this is the C chord, sorry, 5th to the 6th, 5th. If we went back to the 6th, then when we change to the G, we're on the same note, but we're going to have to change the fingering around. We're going to lose that continuity. It's not to say it's wrong. It might work in some situations, but I would try to avoid doing that myself, try and figure out a way of having something else going on such that when we go to the G, it feels like a deliberate change, if you like. So hence on the C going 5th to 6th and then 5th to 4th. Okay, and then the D chords, same as we did earlier actually. So 4th string to 5th. And then the last bit, we're going to just put 2 notes in, D, and then a C, 5th string 3rd, and that leads us back round. So we play up to bar 8, we repeat the whole thing, and then we finish off the final bit there actually just in A minor, and so be 5th string on its own on beat 1, and then strum on beat 3. Yeah, beat 3, yeah. You can use your thumb, you can use your fingers, or a finger. I think a thumb would sound best there, but you know, everyone's going to have their own opinions on that. So let me demonstrate. Feel free to try and join in, but otherwise we'll come back to this one next week. And just take it nice and slow. Okay, so good luck if you're going to join in. So after 4, starting on the A minor. Okay, so 3, 4. C or C over G, 5th string to the 4th, then to G, to the 5th string, 6th, to the 5th, and then D, to the 5th, and our single notes, back to A minor, C over G, 5th string to the 4th, and G, and then your D chord, single notes, and then open 5th and an A minor strum to finish off with. Okay, cool. So we'll have a listen to that tune in a minute. Just so you know, if you pick up the speed a bit, you get this kind of sound. And so you could, as well, rather than plucking the strings, you could strum like a down and up with the index finger. So on. So you know, and that can lend itself to perhaps different styles of playing. So you know, that last one sounded perhaps a little bit more kind of country, perhaps. This one, I kind of think almost has almost like an Eastern European kind of flavour, perhaps. So you know, it depends what you hear within it. And again, when you're playing music and you're trying to put your own spin on things, having these options, like, okay, I'm going to play this chord progression, but I'm going to play it like this. You know, it can just make your playing so much more interesting. So, but anyway, let's have a listen. So this is number 24. I'll point at where we are in the music as we go along. So here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, cool. So that was exercise 24 and Dusty Road. So again, quite different, I think, to exercise 23 and playing the single note stuff with swing, getting stuck into some chords. And next week, we're going to get stuck into some power chord ideas, which is a good sort of precursor to bar chords, which is something we will talk about at some point. And that involves playing chords up and down the fretboard and so on. And so it's going to be, what we'll need to do is learn our root notes all up and down the 6th and the 5th strings. And because the way we've been learning music so far, it's like hopefully actually you know a lot of the notes up to the 8th fret anyway, so there's just a couple more to fill in. But we will get stuck into that next week. So let's recap then, things to work on. I would attempt the that arpeggio warm up. We'll keep going with that. I think that's because of the other stuff we're playing. I think there's a bit of merit in that. I forgot to do it today actually, but the A natural minor scale, which is exercise 19, so just refreshing the notes in the 5th position, that's a really good one to do as well. We'll probably have a go at fast car again next week, perhaps maybe for the last time, because it is a bit of a kind of aside to our normal stuff. But it's it's good to do. So we'll probably have a go at that one more week, and then exercise 23 and 24, the ones we've covered today, and then obviously we'll well, next week we'll get on some new stuff. But that has basically recapped what would be good to practice this week. So we'll leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed the lesson today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please let anybody else know that you think that might be interested in these lessons. It's always good to have new people getting involved. So very best luck with the practice this week, and have a wonderful week and weekend, and I will see you hopefully next Thursday. Okay, take care everybody. Bye bye.